What's going on, everybody? C4 here, and it is a Beat Dallas week. The best time of year for Philadelphia Eagle fans, especially now seeing Dallas going through very similar trials and tribulations that the Philadelphia Eagles did last year. We'll talk about that. That's going to be my big final point. But it is Beat Dallas week. This is a very important game for the Philadelphia Eagles. And, you know, after a long week off, man, we've got healthy. We've added a couple guys. We got Will Beatty. We got Donnell Ellerby making those free agency signings, bringing in guys that are ring chasing because we're trying to load up with depth for a deep playoff run. That's always a good spot to be. So what we're going to do today is jump through the top 10 things I think you guys should keep an eye on for matchups, stuff like that. Keys to the victory for the Philadelphia Eagles as they take on a Dallas Cowboys team that is kind of limping in. But let's be honest. When you look at what Dallas is missing, their starting tackle, they're missing their best offensive lineman, their best tackle. Okay, we'll just say their best tackle. They're missing their starting linebacker, their best linebacker, and they're missing their starting running back. And I'm not going to compare Zeke to Darren Sproles. They're different, but Philly's missing Jason Peters, top tackle, was playing as good, if not better, than Tyron Smith this season. We're missing our top linebacker in Jordan Hicks, who I would say I'd probably give the edge to Sean Lee in terms of talent, but for their importance to a defense and what they brought, very, very close, if not identical. And we're missing a playmaker at the running back spot. So it's one of those things, you know, the excuse of this game for the Dallas Cowboys if they lose is, oh, we're banged up and all the yada, yada, yada. We're just as hurt. If you guys are 100% hurt, we're an 80% hurt. You know, it's this way. Philly's missing enough pieces that is not an excuse. If you find any Dallas Cowboy fans in your life that says, oh, you only won that game because we were hurt, point is null and void. All right? So, that being said, let's jump into the top 10 things. So, at number 10, Tyron Smith looks like he will miss out in this game. There's some conflicting reports on Twitter, but it seems like more people than not are saying that he's going to miss this game, which means it's going to be Byron Bell / Chaz Green time. I remember Chaz Green's time at Florida. Never thought he was going to make the NFL roster, and I guess you saw last week where he got burned. Him and Byron Bell in combination got burned for 6 sacks from Adrian Claiborne, a first-round bust. Where is he, with the Bucks or something like that? So, that's bad news. That's bad news when the Philadelphia Eagles front seven is playing like the best front seven in football today. That's going to be... Rest in peace, Dak. That's all I can say. If they don't decide to give running back help or tight end help, which you figure they will, and then you figure they would, but they didn't against Atlanta. They didn't make that in-game adjustment, which is idiotic. That's the coach of the year last year, Jason Garrett, that did not make that adjustment. Horrible. I still can't believe he won coach of the year. But this is going to be bad news. Tyron Smith, if he misses this game, it's not confirmed yet, but it's looking like he will. Oh, we're going to really see how good of a scrambler Dak Prescott is. I'll say that. We'll be able to get a good comparison. Who's better, Dak Prescott or Russell Wilson? Because it's going to look like the same game plan. Number 9 is the Philadelphia Eagles have only given up 40-plus rush yards once in the NFL this season. That was week 2 against the Kansas City Chiefs, against Kareem Hunt, who's having an exceptional season. And really, that was one run. Kareem Hunt was sitting in the first half, had like 15 yards, and then eventually he got up to 40, and then he had like a big 50-some yard after a blown play. You know, I'm not discounting that, but it was one really big play that put that running back over 40 yards. I doubt Alfred Morris and Rod Smith have a chance. It seems like Dave McFadden's kind of an afterthought right now in that backfield, so it's Alfred Morris and Rod Smith. If not healthy offensive line, there's going to be no one biting on the play-action pass. I think it's going to be a rough one, Dallas. I'm trying my best not to come out and say enough that if the Philadelphia Eagles lose, you're like, oh my God, this guy's an idiot. Look at all the clear positives. But I can't see, as an outsider, trying to take this from a neutral perspective on this one point. Trust me, I'm going to go back to an Eagles fan for the rest of this video. For this one point, looking as a neutral fan, I just don't see it. Alfred Morris does not look like the same running back. He's older. But when he was with Washington, he was solid. And when you look at the league as a whole, and you're looking at the backups, the top backups, Alfred Morris probably is a top 5 backup in terms of talent. He's been a, starting running back somewhere, has had some productive seasons in the NFL, but he doesn't look the same type of player anymore. And I think it's going to be rough for Dallas. Going to point number 8 is the Philadelphia Eagles really have struggled against play-action pass this season. No more so, for a quick example, against the Washington Redskins. Against the Redskins, we bit on every play-action pass. Kirk Cousins looked like a mobile scrambling quarterback. I think he probably had almost 100 rushing yards in the 2 games that we played them this season. Now, that was my biggest worry going up against Dallas, assuming that when we played them, at least the first game, they would have Zeke and Dak. But now, my biggest worry, we're good. We're absolutely good. The play-action pass could not work against Atlanta. It's not going to work against us. I mean, that's a bonus. That is a big-time bonus for the Philadelphia Eagles. So thank you, Zeke, for not being able to keep your hands off women and sticking your nose out of trouble. Going to point number 7 is the Dallas pass rush is really good. Got to give some credit to Dallas. There's a reason why they're still, even with all their injuries and the suspensions, considered a team that could at least make a playoff push for the wildcard spot. It's because their pass rush is very, very good, and this is going to be another big test for Big V and that offensive line. However, no one is playing football better at the tackle spot in the NFL than Lane Johnson. Just look at his block against Von Miller. He dominated Von Miller. The only way Von Miller in the fourth quarter against our backup, he had a sack fumble, which made his stat line not look terrible. But overall, Von Miller got destroyed. Number 2 player according to NFL Top 100s, Von Miller got absolutely destroyed by Lane Johnson. So I guess maybe hopefully Lane Johnson goes up against DeMarcus Lawrence, who's having an incredible season. But as far as pass rush, I'm really worried about David Irvin, who's been destroying dudes. He's a big guy, like 6'7", 6'8", going up against Jason Kelce in the middle of the line. That being said, there's no Sean Lee for the Dallas Cowboys offense, so I think or Dallas Cowboys defense. So I do believe that a quick pass, having quick routes to Corey Clement, Wendell Smallwood out the backfield, to Zach Ertz across the middle, Nelson Aguilar in the slot. That is going to be the best way for the Philadelphia Eagles to make sure Carson Wentz gets through this game without a nick or scratch on his body, because I think they have too many, 3-step dropbacks that he just wants to sit there and try to extend plays. It's not going to work in our favor because I don't really see how Jason Kelce matches up well against David Irving, but that Sean Lee loss is going to help out the Philadelphia Eagles immensely. Going to point number 6 is Alshon Jeffrey matches up pretty well with Dallas's smaller DBs. For the whole part, there's not a big DB on Dallas. I mean, Awuzie is probably the biggest guy. Scandrick, I don't know if he's 6 feet tall. So now it's time to see if this hot streak from Alshon can continue from the Denver game. Alshon looked on fire against Denver, looked like a legitimate wide receiver 1 going up against, just abusing Aqib Talib, really. And if that fire can continue, that is going to be huge. That is going to be the matchup we want to see. We're going to see who's a better wide receiver, Alshon or Dez Bryant. Very similar type guys. It's going to be a great test to kind of see what we're working with versus what they're working with. And I think that is going to be a big-time matchup for the Philadelphia Eagles to exploit. And I know as Eagle fans, where Alshon's stats, they're pretty good right now. He's sitting at 5 touchdowns on pace for 10 TDs when all is said and done. We want to see Alshon perform like that wide receiver 1. So come contract time, it's a very easy decision to resign him. Even though I personally think even without big gaudy numbers, he's the reason why everything else is working on the offense this year in terms of receivers like Zach Ertz and Nelson Aguilar. So I'd very much like to see Alshon come back either way, but with a better stat line, I think that look a little better on paper. Going to point number 5 is Zach Ertz and Ronald Darby will return for the Philadelphia Eagles, plus Donnell Ellerbe will be in there seeing snaps on defense. Upgrade. Personally, I don't hate Joe Walker as much as a lot of people do. I think he's really, really solid against the run, and he's smart, he's intelligent, he can call a lot of the plays and be a leader. You see that, like he's a special teamer guy, but in the same mold as like a Chris Marigo. So you like him, but do you really want him on the field that much? Probably not. Ellerbe is a guy, struggled to stay healthy, but when he has been in there, he is really good against the blitz. He's much more of a run stopper, but not a liability in coverage, where you probably could say Joe Walker is a liability, and then Najee Goode's just not that good. Kind of rhymes, kind of a thing, kind of a meme I've tried to start up. But I like Ellerbe. He's probably not going to get a whole lot. He's probably going to get the JHI treatment where you don't try to overload him right away. But I would like to see him get on the field in the fourth quarter at some time. But Zach Ertz coming back is going to be huge. I know, really, tight end is one of the best spots for depth. If you told me right now, I don't want to curse anything. I'm going to knock on wood. I haven't said anything like this in a video. Let's just say one of our tight ends got hurt, and I'm going to assume you could probably guess what one that could be. Zach Ertz is good. I think Selleck is still good. And Trey Burton is a guy that I think could start on a lot of teams right now, and I think he's going to be a guy we're going to lose in free agency because he can go start somewhere. However, if one of our tight ends did go down, I think 2 other players would be able to step up. It's one of the positions that we have the luxury of having a good amount of depth, but having Zach Ertz back in that locker room, back out there on the field, is going to be a big get because his chemistry with Carson Wentz has been as lethal and it's been better, really, than Alex Smith and Travis Kelce and Tom Brady and Gronkowski this year. The most lethal tight end to quarterback combination so far in the season has been Carson Wentz and Zach Ertz, and that's great to have. And Darby back out there, man. Our DBs have been playing really well. Jalen Mills, Patrick Robinson, Rasul Douglas. But Darby we gave up a lot of assets. We gave up Jordan Matthews. We gave up a 3rd-round pick. Let's get Darby back out there. He seems to be 100%. Let's see what we can get. Number 4 is Jay Ajayi. We'll see a lot more snaps this week. And with no Sean Lee, I fully expect Dallas's run defense to be incredibly suspect. Sean Lee is one of the best linebackers against the run. I don't know who their backup is. I can't even name off the top of my head. He's not going to be able to stop Jay Ajayi. I'll tell you that right now. We saw a little bit of Jay Ajayi, 80 yards, touchdown against Denver. We all know Denver's defense. Dallas is a limping defense. I expect very much the same kind of results And kind of in the mold like Alshon. You want to see these guys perform at the highest level. We didn't get to see that with Alshon Jeffrey with his limited amount of snaps. So that's going to be a big time thing to watch for Eagle fans. Hopefully he gets, 100+ yards. Looks like a legitimate RB1. But then again, Deuce Staley, who I've made it pretty clear that I'm not a huge fan of, will find a way to rotate in all four backs in for 10 snaps each or something like that. Because we can't have nice things. Going to point number 3 is Dallas still has hope. And, Dak Prescott and Dez Bryant, Jason Witten, they're all still there. Dallas is at home. This could be very well considered a trap game. There's no way that I'm going to outright say there is zero chance that Dallas is going to win this game. They have, something magical could happen. It's very unlikely. Not too often will I outright bet on the Philadelphia Eagles, say there's no way that they're going to lose this game. I'm not a big gambler, but I would put money on Philadelphia this week, saying, yeah, they're going to beat Dallas away from home. I mean, I don't know what the odds are. I assume Philadelphia's are the overwhelming favorite. But, there's still a chance. There's still a chance. You have these great players who a lot of people are kind of discrediting this year, to be completely honest with you. I don't want to go too much at this point because it's my final one. But Dak still has Dez. Dez, top 10 wide receiver, you ask a Cowboy fan. You have Jason Witten. He's still there. He has big games against Philly. Top 10 tight end if you ask a Dallas Cowboy fan. So, we'll see what happens. But, could be very much considered a trap game still. Going to point number 2. If Eagles win this, it will steal the NFC East for Philly. There is really no way, I think, that if we don't move to 9-1, I believe it would be 4-0 in the division. 5-0. 4-0. They'll be undefeated in the division. Dallas will be sitting at 5-5, I believe. This is a huge game, especially away from Dallas. They're in front of their home fans. Dallas fans are going to be like, this is their season almost. Maybe not their season. This is not a must-win for Dallas, but it's pretty much a must-win. I really feel like their confidence will be shot if they don't win this game. How good would that be, just to do that in Dallas? So, let's clinch this NFC East this week. Huge credit to Doug Peterson. I've been, going off against Doug for bad play calling, and rightfully so. I mean, half those times last year as a rookie head coach, he was a rookie, but still going for it on 4th down, not kicking field goals when he should, going for it when he should kick field goals. He has turned it around this year. He had, a couple shaky in the first couple games, especially against the Kansas City Chiefs where they just weren't running the ball. It seemed like their game plan was off. But for since that game, Doug Peterson very much in the Coach of the Year. Really, I don't know who else would be in that pot of, Todd Bowles. You got Jacksonville's head coach, McVay, but Doug's name's right in there. So big, huge credit to Doug Peterson. Number 1, it's kind of 2 points here. The first point is I really want to see how the Philadelphia Eagles play after a bye. We only have 1 year of Doug Peterson being our coach, and last year we started 3-0, had the bye real early, did not look like the same team after the bye. I believe this team and the culture and how all these guys are playing, the teamwork is completely different. By going off of the very short and small amount of history we have, Philadelphia, under Doug Peterson, has not looked good coming out of the bye. So this is a time to buck that trend, get rid of that reputation right away, and let's see what they can perform. But more so, the number 1 point is it's Wentz versus Dak, and oh how things have changed in one season. Last year, Philadelphia Eagle fans were saying, how can you expect Carson Wentz to be good? We don't have a running back. We're missing Lane Johnson. We're missing a top offensive tackle. We have no weapons at wide receiver. In this big debate between who's the best of the young NFC East quarterbacks. Now you fast forward 1 year ahead. Sorry. And then you had all that with Carson Wentz. And last year, Dak Prescott, he had Dez Bryant. He was a bona fide stud at wide receiver. He had Jason Witten, old man Jason Witten, fringe top 5 tight end. Best offensive line in the NFL, even with Tyron Smith missing a couple games last year. Best offensive line. This team was incredible. Dak Prescott, all these weapons, but he's still Dak Prescott. He's so good. He's still making these plays. 1 year later, Dak Prescott, no weapons whatsoever. Still has Dez, still has Jason Witten. There's no weapons for Dak Prescott. That's why his stats are down this year. He doesn't have the same kind of guys. But you look at Carson Wentz up there in Philadelphia. You got Alshon Jeffrey now. You got Jay Jai. Your offensive line's playing like this. That is why it's just the polar opposites. They just switch scenarios, and the worst thing. It's with both fan bases. I can tell you right now that no one fan base is less guilty than the other. But it's an exact inverse of how people are viewing this, and the hypocrisy. More so with Dallas Cowboy fans than not. As soon as I hear someone say from Dallas, oh yeah, but Wentz has weapons this year. Those are the same people that were saying that Dak Prescott had those. It didn't matter that Dak had those weapons. He was making plays last year for Dallas. You know what I'm saying? But, let's go. Wentz versus Dak. Let's start this debate off for this upcoming season, the 2017 season, the first time they get the matchup. Both having really good years. This is a good, barometer to see who is really the best right now. MVP pick for me for this game is very much going to be Carson Wentz. I think he's going to carve them up. 3 touchdown performance, I would say. And very clean. No, we're saying 0 picks. Clean game. Let me know what you guys think about this upcoming game. It is Beat Dallas week. It is a very, very exciting time. I cannot wait for this game. But that does it for me here today, guys. And obviously, big news. There's no more Big Slob. That is the face of the Philadelphia Eagle fans on YouTube anymore. So that is exceptional. So spread the love. Share this video around to all your Eagle fans that are trying to fill the void of their Philadelphia Eagles content, if you know what I'm saying. EDP is gone. Thank God. Thank you for watching. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.